Giants seem to have a strong presence in human history, even though the existence of them seems to be uncanny and shrouded in mystery. Mentioned in all three books, the Quran, Torah, and Bible, all bring up the description of tall, powerful warriors who would carve their homes in mountains and trample on entire armies, and there have even been claims that these creatures were the reason for the floods that covered Earth. In the Tafsir al-Qurtubi, they translate knowledge of people who were 3,333 cubits, and 1 cubit in modern measurements is 18 inches, and plays out to being over 5,000 feet tall. Why do these strange facts appear before us? Strange archaeological finds that are covered up by mainstream media, but so many stories that support the idea of their existence. In Greek mythology, these were the children of angels and humans and crossbred that was supposed to have never existed. Some of the most famous giants in the Bible include Goliath, a Philistine warrior defeated by David, and Og, king of Bashan, who was killed by the Israelites. While some scholars believe that these giants were purely imaginary, others suggest that they may have been based on real-life ancient peoples who were taller and more intimidating than average humans. Moses and the king of Bashan had a tense encounter during the Israelites' journey from Egypt to the Promised Land. The king, named Og, was known for his great size and strength, and he saw the Israelites as a threat to his kingdom. When Og learned that the Israelites were approaching his land, he gathered his army and prepared to attack them. But God had promised Moses that the Israelites would be victorious, so he led his people into battle with confidence. As the Israelites charged into battle, Moses went up to a nearby hill and lifted his hands in prayer. The battle raged on for some time, but eventually the Israelites emerged victorious, and Og was captured. Rather than seeking revenge, Moses showed kindness to Og and treated him with respect. The two even had a friendly conversation, where Og admitted that he had been impressed by the strength and power of the Israelites' God. In the end, the Israelites went on to conquer the land of Bashan and settle there, while Og's kingdom was absorbed into Israel's growing territory. The encounter with Moses had left a lasting impression on the king, who was said to have become a believer in the God of Israel. And in another story, David was a young shepherd boy who was chosen by God to become a great king of Israel. One day, the Philistines, Israel's enemy, sent their champion warrior Goliath to challenge the Israelites to a duel. Goliath was a giant over 9 feet tall and was armed with heavy armor and weapons. No one in Israel's army dared to accept his challenge to fight in single combat until David stepped forward. David refused to wear armor, saying that he would trust in God to protect him. He took a sling and 5 smooth stones from a brook and approached Goliath with courage and confidence. Goliath mocked him and cursed him, but David answered with faith, stating that he came in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. David slung a stone at Goliath's forehead, which struck him and caused him to fall to the ground. David then drew the giant's sword and used it to cut off his head. The Philistines were defeated and fled, while the Israelites rejoiced and praised God for their victory. David became famous for his bravery and skill and was hailed as a hero and future king. His faith in God and his courage in facing impossible odds inspired generations to come. In the past, it seemed everything was much bigger compared to modern-day civilization, and so questions must be asked like how big and tall was David to pick up a giant's sword? Or even how big was the rock he threw to slay this giant? Another strange detail found in text was that Moses himself was 10 cubits, which would have made him 15 feet tall. Also, when God instructed the Israelites to go the Promised Land, they said they could not because of ferocious men who lived there. But there were only one army that lived there, and that was the Anakim, which was compared to giants. However, the term Nephilim has several interpretations, translations, and meanings, and there is no conclusive evidence of their existence beyond religious texts. Some theories suggest that ancient civilizations encountered remains of extinct megafauna, which could have been mistaken for giant humanoids. Nonetheless, these theories lack sufficient evidence, and the mention of Nephilim giants remains a topic of religious and cultural interpretation rather than a factual historical event.